Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Tuesday, January 24th, 2023 County of Placer Board of Supervisors meeting. We will begin with a flag salute led by County Executive Officer Jane Christensen.
Please join me in the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Would like to welcome Supervisor Landon to her first Tahoe meeting. Welcome, Supervisor Landon. We will now move to the consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda have been recommended for approval by the County Executive Department. All items will be approved by a single roll call vote. Anyone may ask to address consent items prior to board taking action, and the item may be moved for discussion. Are there any items from the board?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I would like to pull item 17C 1 through 3
Okay,
for a little further discussion.
okay. Any other items from the board? Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to move an item up for discussion? Is there anyone online? Alrighty, then I will entertain a motion to approve the remaining items.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah,
I believe there is a recusal needed on consent.
Sorry.
yeah.
Thank you, Karen, for reminding me. Yes, I need to recuse on item 15A on the agenda. My husband's firm does do work for Tahoe City Lodge.
Okay. Then if there are any public comment on consent? Seeing none, I'll entertain. Oh, here we go. Oh. Hello.
Good morning. My name is Stephanie Morris. I'm the Director of Legal and Regulatory Affairs at the Truckee Meadows Water Authority. I'm not asking to pull any items from consent. I just wanted to express appreciation on item number 20, which is a contract for land tender. And the Truckee Meadows Water Authority provides water to 440,000 residents in Reno, Sparks, and parts of Washoe County. So you may be wondering why I care about this issue. But 80% of our water supply is surface water that comes from the Truckee River. And our drought storage is almost exclusively in reservoirs surrounded by U.S. Forest Service land in California. That includes Donner Lake, Independence, Stampede, Boca, and Prosser reservoirs. So Truckee Meadows Water Authority is interested and appreciative of Placer County doing this large-scale planning for fuels reduction and forest management. And we are part of a MOA with Forest Service, the Nature Conservancy, NFF, National Forest Foundation, as well as the Truckee River Watershed Council. And we're doing our own planning in the Middle Truckee River Watershed, which starts from essentially the dam in Tahoe City and goes almost all the way out to Sierraville. And I think this type of large regional planning is important. And I think this work that you are approving will prove useful for the region. And this work can nest and build on each other to increase the scale and scope of this type of work. So thank you very much, and we appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate your comments. So I need a motion to approve the remaining items.
I'll move approval of the consent agenda.
I'll second.
It's been moved by Supervisor Gore and seconded by Supervisor Landon to move the remaining items on the consent agenda. Pardon? Oh, Jones. Okay. You have to let me know. So it's been a motion by Supervisor Gore and a second by Supervisor Jones to approve the remaining items on the consent calendar. Do we need a roll call?
Yes, I do.
This is a roll call vote. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Gore,
Aye.
Landon,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Gustafson,
Aye on everything other than 15A 1 through 3.
and
I'm
Holmes.
recusing.
Second, aye, yeah. So we don't have to take 15A separately?
No, we do not.
No, okay, great. All right, then we'll move to item 17C 123, which I believe is on page 433 of our packet. Oh, there it is, right there. Did you want to bring it forward?
No, I would just like a little further discussion on the topic. I have constituents that have concerns, and so just a little further discussion would be very helpful.
Okay.
Chair Amy on Zoom
Okay.
and can answer or give a quick presentation.
Mr. Dwelly, did you have a comment on this item?
Mr. Chairman, good morning. I'm Tom Dwelly. We're here to speak on the impending lawsuit with respect to the homeless camp. Would now be the appropriate time we wait comes up on the agenda.
Yeah, you'll have to wait till it
Thank
comes
you.
up. All right, thank you. Okay, Amy Ellis, please proceed on this item. Are you down there? There you are. Can't hear you.
We can't. We're trying to work out her audio right now.
Oh, okay.
Chair, could we move to the next item and we will work through the audio issue on her side?
Okay. We will move now to board member reports. Any board member reports? Oh, excuse me. Oh, I'm sorry. This is the time for public comment. Persons may address the board on items not on this agenda. Please limit comments to 3 minutes per person since the time allocated for public comment is 15 minutes. If all comments cannot be heard.
Okay, I'm standing by, but you guys can still hear me on Teams, right?
Yeah. So we're moving forward on public comment and we'll come back to you, Amy. If all items cannot be heard within the 15-minute time limit, the public comment period will be taken up at the end of the regular session. The board is not permitted to take any action on items addressed under public comment. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Wes Moody. My wife and I have a home in Meadow Vista and also here in Agate Bay, both in District 5 with Cindy Gustafson's district. I volunteer my time with Tahoe Nordic Search and Rescue. And as you know, you just approved on the consent agenda a $2,000 allotment for the Great Ski Race, which will be held on March 5th. The Great Ski Race is Tahoe Nordic Search and Rescue's major fundraiser. The proceeds from that race, as well as donations that we receive during the course of the year, go to training and equipment that allow us to continue searches and save lives. And on behalf of the entire team, I would like to thank the Board of Supervisors for making this donation. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, and thank you for your service on that. Good morning.
Good morning, Ellie Waller. Today I'm here. I know you can't answer any questions. The TRPA published a January 25th meeting notification with an additional day on the 24th. I will be going before them tomorrow with a similar comment. This wasn't disclosed on their front page where they talk about their meetings. There is a tour this afternoon here for the Kings Beach Community Revitalization Programs. If you didn't look at the TRPA agenda, you as a Placer County person doesn't know this is happening today. We were also notified today by Jeff Cowan that there might be some Tahoe Basin Area Plan amendment presentation or questions and answers. Again, the public has no idea that this is going on this afternoon at 2:30. I'm really concerned that, there is no transparency in this issue. I wish there would have been better disclosure. I mean, a bunch of us can reach out to people today, but I am really concerned that none of this really has been made for public consumption.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Ann Nichols,
Hi, Ann.
Tahoe Preservation Alliance. I'm struck by all the woman power here, and it must be very
Tell me.
lonely, Jim.
It's all right.
Kind of scary.
It's
maybe.
about time.
Anyway, what I wanted to talk about today was the Prosperity Center, who profits from this? Who prospers, rather? You know, they are a nonprofit, started in 2010, and you guys approved, I guess, 110,000 last month to go towards the Prosperity Center. Well, and they are used as the justification for the Tahoe Basin Area Plan amendments. And they've done some data gathering, which is lovely, but it's stuff you can just get off the internet and from the census. So it's not like earth shattering. And my concern and our concern is that it's financially disturbing what they're proposing. And I guess you've adopted it. They want a first-year investment of $677,000. This is from the whole lake and from the private people too. $240,000 a year for workforce housing, programmatic costs, $200,000 for marketing and branding. They're changing their name to Tahoe Inc. Or maybe it's just like another name. $150,000 a year for 2 part-time employees, $10 million for workforce housing activities and programs, $10 million for business startups, $20 million a year for mobility programs, eventually increasing cumulatively to over $1 billion over 25 years. This is all on their website, Tahoe Prosperity Center, and it's the playbook. It's serious stuff. It's certainly not plain. The true beneficiaries of this giant proposal remains unclear. Oversight is unclear. Who's going to watch this? Where's the money going? What is their efficacy in the past? Is this the best use of taxpayer money? And any commissioners with ties to the Prosperity Center, I know Cindy is co-chair, should recuse themselves from any discussions regarding votes or allotting monies, which I don't think it was done last month for the 105,000. But anyway, thank you.
Thank you. And anyone else wish to address us on closed session or public comment? I'm sorry.
Hello,
Hi.
my name is Brendan Gibbons. Thank you guys very much
Brendan.
for giving me the opportunity to speak today. I am speaking to bring attention to the challenges my family and I are having getting into workforce housing at Hopkins Village. We've been approved for the Martis Fund, and we have been in contract with the Hopkins Village now since last February. We have been moving along very slowly as the supply chain has been challenging for the builders to keep up with. So we're where we are now because of a lot of different issues, and we're just having a hard time finally closing the deal. My wife and I have been members of this community for over 30 years now. I started working at Alpine Meadows in 92, 93 as a lift operator, where I now am the director of snow surfaces at Palisades, Tahoe. My wife is a teacher at the Tahoe Expedition Academy and has been a founding teacher there. And she also was a member of the original founding teachers at the Lake Tahoe School way back when. My daughter graduated from Truckee High in 2018, and my son is currently a sophomore at the Tahoe Expedition Academy where my wife teaches. We are the perfect family for this workforce housing, and we've been having a very hard time. This has been going on for over a year now, and there appears to be some language within the deed agreement that Wells Fargo, a national lender, will not work with. And I am a little bit confused as to why there is an impediment like this that's preventing a family like ours from getting into workforce housing. We're watching the days tick by, and we're in a temporary house right now that we thought was only going to be 2 months. Now we're coming up on 11 months being in this house. My wife's recovering from a mastectomy, and I hate to pull that card out, but this has been a very challenging winter for us, in addition to everything that we've got going on, like everybody else does with life. So I just would like the board to know that we need some assistance in amending or clarifying this deed agreement so that we can move forward and get into a house finally. We've been trying for so long, and we never thought we would get a house in the Lake Tahoe area. And it's feeling more and more likely. So any assistance the board can give us to get this done would be much appreciated. We feel like we're the perfect family to be in this. We represent the community. We've been here for a long time. We're not going anywhere. So please, if there's anything you guys can do to help us through this, we would really appreciate it. And I'm going to say that helping us is going to help others as well. That we're not the only ones in this situation. There are houses up there now move-in ready, and we're ready to move in. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for bringing this issue to our attention this morning. I just learned about that this morning. Irvines, if you can raise your hand, is here today. She's our county deputy in charge of land use and community development. She's been advised of this as well, and she's here to help you hopefully work through those issues. So thanks for bringing it to our attention.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Any online?
We do have one online. Sandy, please unmute your mic and give your comments.
Good morning, everyone, and members of the board. I am grateful to our process, which allows time for public comments to help you represent your constituents. Our Constitution, it's a beautiful thing meant to protect us from tyranny, amongst other things. So wonderful that just 2 weeks ago, we were able to witness our newly elected officials taking their oath to defend and uphold our constitutions. I am fortunate to reside in this wonderful county where I believe we have good and sincere elected officials on this board that will act accordingly to defend the rights of the people and make county level decisions that will allow the people to enjoy life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness as stated in our Declaration of Independence. I speak of this today because of news I've been made aware of that occurred in the state of Illinois recently, where their governor has overreached in his governance by signing into law HB 5471, also known as the Protect Illinois Communities Act. Despite its catchy label, this act bans the sale, purchase, and manufacturing of assault weapons and high-capacity magazines in their state. This act is unfortunately unconstitutional and infringes on Second Amendment rights. It saddens me to hear this news. However, on the other hand, I am pleased to know that sheriffs in that state are aware of their obligations to the people and have taken their oath seriously. Sheriffs in 90 counties have made statements and submitted letters stating that the law is unconstitutional and that they will not enforce it. One sheriff stated and reminds us that the right to bear arms for defense of life, liberty, and property is regarded as an inalienable right of the people. It is my goal here today to inform you of these activities in hopes that we can work ahead of something like this and along with our county sheriffs, ensure that our Second Amendment rights would also be protected here in Placer County should an overreach like this occur in our state. Thank you for your time and attention.
Sandy, we need your name for the record.
Sandy from Placer County.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? No. Has our technical difficulties been addressed?
Mr. Chair, it's
What?
Cindy, right down here.
Oh.
Sorry, you don't have your control panel today.
Oh.
I just wanted to correct one item on the record, and Ms. Nichols left, but I do not co-chair the Tahoe Prosperity Center. I co-chaired an effort they undertook underneath. I had nothing to do with the funding or decision-making on that process, but we'll respond to the public concerns about that.
Thank you. So we're ready to go to 17C? Okay, alrighty. Amy Ellis.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Oh, yay. You made me very nervous before, but I'm glad you can hear me now. Good morning, Chair Holmes and members of the board. I am Amy Ellis. I'm Director of the Adult System of Care. We've been hard at work applying for state and federal funding to expand our behavioral health service continuum. The State Department of Health Services was authorized through a 2021 legislation to establish the Behavioral Health Continuum Infrastructure Program, we call it BCHIP, to construct, acquire, and expand properties and invest in mobile crisis infrastructure related to behavioral health. There are 6 rounds of funding, so you'll hear me come back related to BCHIP frequently to your board. As a result of the legislation, they have been presented to county and other organizations as opportunities to expand our existing resources. Round 3 funds, which was considered the launch ready, was awarded to applicants who had projects that were ready to begin immediate work towards acquiring or repurposing land and space for behavioral health services and programs. Placer County was awarded 2 separate applications for these launch ready round 3 grant funds. One project will repurpose a county-owned property on the Placer County Government Center to operate a behavioral health service center, and the other was located at the Home Key 2 location in Roseville to add a behavioral health service center on the first floor. The 2 applications were approved by your board on April 19th, 2022, after Placer County was awarded both projects. We received additional funding related to the Home Key Round 2 project, specifically the project at 110 North Sunrise Avenue in Roseville, which is also the site for Project Home Key. And we received an increase in BCHIP Round 3 grant funds, grant award. The first floor of the Home Key site will be renovated to accommodate 12 to 16 adults in a 24/7 behavioral health respite center that is open to adult residents and the public. This project will provide an alternative option to restrictive and costly psychiatric health facility placements and could potentially serve individuals with substance use disorders as they await placement in the drug Medi-Cal treatment system. This fills a needed service gap in our community and avoids hospitalizations and unnecessary incarcerations. This is an innovative project as it's the only program that successfully received both Home Key and BCHIP funding in a singular location to co-locate behavioral health services within a supportive housing program location. This service will be open to anyone in the community, but also be a nice addition to residents who may need urgent behavioral health care access. An RFP will be done to select a provider of the behavioral health services who will co-locate and rent space from AMI Housing, who owns and operates the supportive housing program on site. This additional revenue was received due to an increase in construction costs from the time of the approval of our award to the time of the award of the funding. The environmental impact was approval of this contract action is exempt from any review pursuant to Section 15301 of the California Environmental Quality Act and is not a project pursuant to CEQA guidelines, Section 15378E. The revenue of $294,000 will be applied to the AMI contract. We combined it into the same contract where the Home Key renovation and construction costs went. So now that one singular contract will have the construction costs from the Home Key 3 grant and from the BCHIP grant within one contract. And AMI's leading the construction efforts of the project. And the funds will be appropriately budgeted into the HHS ASAC budget. As a result of receiving this award and the increase, I am bringing 5 action items to your board today. Item 1, action 1 is to adopt a resolution ratifying the Director of Health and Human Services grant application from the State Behavioral Health Continuum Infrastructure Program, Round 3, for a site at the Home Key Round 2 location, increasing the amount by $42,886 for a new total amount not to exceed $391,931, and authorize the Director of Health and Human Services or designee to sign the resulting agreement and all related paperwork and to sign subsequent amendments up to $39,193, consistent with the agreement, subject matter, and scope of work with risk management and county council concurrence. Action 2, to approve an amendment to the agreement with Advocates for Mentally Ill Housing Incorporated, AMI Housing, to provide funding towards the capital improvements at the Home Key Round 2 site to increase funds by $352,000 for a total amount not to exceed $5,045,345, and increase the term by 6 months for a revised term of December 14th, 2021 through December 30th, 2023, and authorize the Director of Health and Human Services to sign the agreement with risk management and county council concurrence and to sign subsequent amendments up to $100,000 consistent with the agreement's subject matter and scope of work with risk management and county council concurrence. The third is to authorize the Director of Health and Human Services or designee to execute a multi-year deed restriction with county council concurrent to AMI Housing in favor of the county or an amendment to the existing deed restriction for the Home Key Round 2 property as necessary for compliance with the BCHIP Round 3 grant. Fourth, to approve a fiscal year 22-23 budget amendment for the adult system of care in the amount of $294,000. And fifth, to make a finding that the requested contract actions are exempt from California Environmental Quality Act review pursuant to CEQA guidelines, section 15301. And the requested budget action is not a project pursuant to CEQA guidelines, section 15378B4. And I'm happy to answer any further questions on this item.
Thank you, Amy. Any questions from board members?
Yes, of course.
Supervisor Jones.
Hi, Amy. Thank you so much for that report. I was curious as to the Home Key project in Roseville. And do you know what the status is on that? How we're coming along on the
They
construction?
are actually in construction, and they are hoping to complete that project by late summer of this year, 2023.
Okay, and this new funding and what we're doing on the first floor, is that a change from the original plan? Where we're accommodating the extra folks?
The launch ready application, it became available not long after we secured the funding for the Home Key Round 3. So it was actually pretty early on within the planning, along with Jennifer Price from AMI. As we walked the property related to construction needs for Home Key, we both kind of mutually imagined that the space on the first floor could be an excellent location for treatment service delivery. So with kind of collaboration from AMI and county, we decided to apply for BCHIP Round 3 launch ready to acquire additional funding for constructions costs related to developing this innovative behavioral health treatment program on the first floor. AMI was clear that they didn't have the expertise to run that particular program, but they agreed to share space and help design and lead the construction efforts within the project.
Okay, so then the first floor is going to be renovated to accommodate 12 to 16 adults, but it's more for behavioral health purposes?
Exactly. So it'll be two separate programs. They'll end up being two the costs for constructions are going in the same contract, but the operation contract, once we get to an operator, will be two separate contracts. So we'll do an RFP, we'll choose a contractor, we'll contract for services that would be separate from what AMI is providing in the same location for supportive housing.
Okay, and the rest of the folks from the second floor on up is, tell me about those folks, or I should say.
Yeah, so
remind me.
that would be just their place where they live. AMI will still have a service contract too to provide supportive housing services, which would be separate and distinct from these behavioral health services. So basically they'll still receive what residents in supportive housing often receive: support with linkage to healthcare, support with linkage to behavioral health services or behavioral health services offered on site, help with just basically anything that individual needs to maintain successful housing. Those things will still be offered, but with on-site supportive services. This new service that we're going to create in this distinct location will be open to the whole community. So people from the project, if they happen to have a crisis or an urgent need, will be eligible to use it, but it's not only for them. It's going to be a community service similar to the Lotus program. It's just going to be located within this particular building, where on the upper floors is supportive housing.
Right. The folks on the first floor, the 12 to 16 individuals, though they'll be housed, right, for a period of time?
Well, it's open to anyone in the community in need. So they could be unhoused when they're utilizing the service. It would be a short-term service. They wouldn't live there. It would be a stay of up to maybe 48 hours, and then linkage to appropriate treatment or housing resources or other things.
Oh, okay. So it's like, it's a very short stay, 48 hours, or like you said. Okay. All right. Well, that clarifies it quite a bit for me. Thanks so much, Amy.
No problem.
Thank you. Thank you, Amy. Any other board member comments? Seeing none, is there any in the public, everybody in the public that wants to address the board on this item? Anybody online?
There's one on Zoom.
Oh, okay.
Sandy, go ahead and unmute your mic and give your comments.
Yes, good morning. I was just listening to the presentation and it sounds like they're increasing services, and by increasing services, especially the component that is open to the entire community, how does that affect the traffic to and from that facility? I imagine that would be increasing compared to the original plans where there was nothing really offered to the entire community.
Amy, can you address that?
Sure. So because the service that's open to the community is, at a max 14 to 16 beds, depending on need, it's usually something where individuals would either be dropped off by a family member, law enforcement, or walk in on their own. They could have a car. That area does have quite a significantly large parking lot because it formerly was a hotel. So we don't anticipate that the utilization of the parking spaces there in its former use would exceed what's needed with the new use with the housing program and these 14 to 16 extra beds, where not all people who utilize it would bring a car.
Thank you, Amy. Any other public comment?
No further, Chair.
Okay. Then the chair will entertain a motion.
I move approval of the item.
It's been moved by Supervisor Jones to approve the item.
And I'll second it and say thank you to our HHS staff for the creativity in trying to find funds to help address especially behavioral health needs in our community. We know those certainly have increased over the last couple of years, and being able to access state funds to address this need is terrific. So thank you, Amy and team.
There's a motion by Supervisor Jones, second by Supervisor Gore, to take the action requested, identified on page 433 of the staff packet, board packet. This is a roll call vote.
Landon,
Yes.
Jones,
Aye.
Gustafson,
Aye.
Gore,
Aye.
Holmes.
Aye. Thank you. Now we were going to adjourn to closed session. County Council will lead us in.
The board will now adjourn to closed session to consider one item of anticipated litigation.